Hello. Again, if you would like to not watch the entire 36 minutes of just us talking, then there will be timestamps in the description that you can click and go to whatever part of the video you want. There'll be 4 parts, and it'll be titled what we talk about. So yeah, just as usual, there'll be timestamps in the description. If you do want to watch the whole thing, then go ahead, bro. I have like a lot of stuffed animals, dude. Can't let go of it. There's Stitch upside down. What? There's Stitch. Look at Stitch. Oh my god. Stitch is upside down. The frick? My mom told me the high today was like 70.
Looking at it right now, 70 degrees.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
Dang.
Yep, it's nice out.
Yeah, it's very warm for a day in February.
I agree. This is unusual because when I come next week, we might be wearing our coats again.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
My dad said when in February it goes hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, all over the place like that.
Yeah. And then a little bit of March, and then we start heading warmer, cold, warmer, cold, and it just keeps getting warmer. Which I like. I like spring and fall. Late spring and early fall. I don't like early spring because it's still kind of cold then. I'd like to live in a place that would have temperatures like that. So yeah, Maryland, there's the old saying that if you don't like the weather in Maryland, just stay another day.
The Jacob, which is me, and the Franks. Smartalk. Episode 5. The Future and a Dark World. Enjoy. Oh, well, a few days ago, it was Sunday, I binge-watched all 3 Back to the Future movies.
It's a lot of time, I guess.
Yeah,
6-7 hours at least.
And I'm wondering, what was the biggest piece of technology when you were a kid? Like the most advanced?
Well, I had heard that there were computers. My mother worked at Sparrows Point in the main office, and they had a computer room down there that took up a whole floor, so they could just do payroll and figure out how many hours people worked. But it was as big as their whole bottom floor of a main office building, tremendously big. But I had never seen it. But so when I was about 16, I had heard that there was this thing called a computer. For me, when I was young, probably, I'm trying to think what they were, we still have them. Well, we went to CDs, compact disc players. Everything was records, plastic records.
Yeah.
And then you needed a CD player. And all the songs were on a this flat disk, which was surprising to us. I mean, how could that be? That all their voices and all could be, and you could stop it, as you know, and just start right off where you stopped it. So that was a pretty amazing thing.
What did you think now was going to be like when you were a kid?
I thought when I was a kid that we'd probably have flying cars by now.
Kind of like in Back to the Future.
Yeah, kind of like in
Back to the Future got it way off, but some of the stuff they got it right.
Yep.
Like we actually do have a hoverboard, but it only works on a copper aluminum alloy or something.
There you go. 50-some years ago, maybe this is 50 years ago, really. There was a World's Fair in New York City. The World's Fair is every couple of years in a different city around the world, but it was in New York City. So I belonged to a church group as a kid, and they decided that we were having a thing where we stayed a week on Staten Island, but one of the days we were allowed to go to the World's Fair. So I went to the World's Fair with a couple friends, and we went into one of the rooms. It was basically every country trying to show the future. Well, there was an actual telephone hookup with a television screen, and each one of us got to talk to somebody in California. So I could see I got to talk to a girl in California. She's in California talking to me and could see me. It took 35 years or more after that before anybody came out like Apple with, you can now just look at people when you talk. I thought sure that would be a big hit, that once they had developed that, everybody would want one. But I think they found out that women didn't like the idea that they could answer the phone and they might not have their makeup on or their hair right. So they say, I don't want anybody to see what I look like if I answer the phone, because back then everybody talked on the phone. They didn't text and do things. So you could call somebody with your hair all messed up and wearing your old beat up clothes and nobody knew. But with that new technology, which didn't go anywhere, you couldn't do that. Or you could do that, but it didn't sell. And our whole society had to change so that it took almost, let's say, 45, 50 years for it to become acceptable. That we can look at each other. FaceTime, we call it now. I'm not even sure how many people actually FaceTime. I mean, that's a big technology, but...
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people FaceTime, but... Yeah, I don't think FaceTiming is as popular anymore.
Yeah,
just because of that reason.
Almost the same thing, yes. Now, what did take off was teleconferencing. They had it where you could see each other on a conference phone, but everybody went to work and they were dressed up, and they were aware they were going to be seen, so it was okay. But it just never became a big thing for the home phone, the wired phone into your house. It never became a big thing where you could see each other. So that was a big. I really thought, but I was like, this is wonderful. You can see people you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
If I wanted to see my grandmother who lived in Cambridge, I'd call her and I could see her.
Now,
decades before that happened. Yeah.
I think that in the future we're not going to have hoverboards, definitely, but I don't think we're going to have flying cars, because it's too much work for nothing. Because flying cars, I saw in a Back to the Future video where if you had flying cars, if you crash in the sky, you would have no chance of surviving. You just fall and blow up on the ground.
Yeah.
If you crash on the sky, and they could be autopilot.
Yeah.
But that's basically just flying your private jet. Like the point of air travel is to get away from traffic. And if you have too much traffic in the sky, they call it the skyway instead of highway.
Mm-hmm.
If you have in the skyway, if you crash, you're just going to fall all the way down and blow up on the ground.
Sure.
So I don't think there's going to be flying cars. But what I do think is we have VR stuff, and there's this new game, VR Chat, where you can chat with random people that choose random avatars on VR Chat. Like, you can talk with people. Now, they won't look like them because they can choose different avatars, but you can talk with random people. So I think, instead of FaceTime, I don't know, like a VR call, to where you can put on, both of you can put on a headset, and you can have, like, a hologram thing, and it'll blow up, and you can, like, be in the same room, kinda.
And then chatting with each other.
Yeah.
And the other person could be in Europe or in Africa at the same time.
Yeah, and they could, like, virtual bloop yourself as a hologram. They see you as a hologram, and you see all the other, their room as a hologram, well, as in virtual reality. So I think that might be a cool thing in the future that I just thought of.
You might be right. Have you ever done virtual reality?
I don't have the money to get the headset.
Yeah,
I have it on here. I have it on here, but I don't know if you can you get VR chat on your phone? I'll see if you can get VR chat on your phone. I think you can.
Yeah, with the virtual realities that I saw a year or so ago, you need your iPhone to be in that thing you put on your head. You put it in the...
Yeah, but now the headset is the virtual reality thing. And it's much more efficient than iPhones, because it's the same size as the thing. So, I think PlayStation has one. The most popular one is the Vive. And then there's one called, the first one was Oculus Rift.
I remember here. I think that's when I saw Oculus Rift. There's another one now called the Vive.
Yeah.
As in live, V-I-V-E. Vive. All right. You might be right, because I think a lot of gamers are counting on virtual reality becoming really big.
Yeah, but I don't want my games, when I grow up and make my games, I don't want my games virtual reality, because I just want it to be a classic game.
Okay.
Like Crash Bandicoot or Sly Cooper or some of those classic games from, like, the early 2000s, because PlayStation 2 had all the best games.
Well, that's what you can do.
It also had the best controller. I think PlayStation 2 controllers are way more efficient than PS3 or PS4 controllers. They're way more efficient. Plus, Xbox 360 controllers are all over the place.
All right, shall we go do it?
Sure. A sad story. Turn the AC off so it doesn't drown out our voices. Okay. Sad story. Please.
Got a call of an accident, and it was on a small 2-lane road. So it came out as accident PI, which meant personal injury. When I got there, a car had actually hit a telephone pole and hit it pretty good. Hit it on the passenger side. As I pulled up, the driver, which was a male, probably about 21, 22 years old, obviously drunk, gets out of the car, and he comes walking cockeyed towards me, and he starts saying, I don't know what happened, what did I hit? So I told him to get in my patrol car, because obviously I was going to end up locking him up for DWI, driving while intoxicated. So I said, get in my car, because I wanted to make sure everything was all right with the car. And when I come up around into the driver's side, the telephone pole had actually crushed his passenger, which I then found out was his girlfriend, whom he had just asked just an hour or two before for her to marry him. And she said yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I had to go back and tell him that he killed his recent fiance. So that wasn't an easy thing to do.
Yeah, you told me.
And it was obvious she was dead. I didn't have to, call. The ambulances came, but it was a fatal accident, which I didn't expect. That's the funny thing about the police department. I always tell the new recruits and the new officers when they come on to always expect the unexpected. Okay. So what do you think?
You have told me this story before, but not in that much detail, and when you told me it before, I didn't know that they were about to get married.
Yeah, well, that's the sad part, and that kind of people
Oh my God.
Yeah, so his whole life, he by acting goofy, getting too drunk, and then he lost control of his car, he ended up killing his girlfriend.
Yeah, because you told me how drunk people don't know what's going on, so they're kind of loose, and then people that aren't drunk know that they're about to crash, and they tense up, and then their bones get all crushed.
Exactly. That's well, she got the dash and all came there. He was going pretty fast, so I didn't have to lock him up. We have a special police units that come around, and they handle really bad accidents or fatal accidents. But I had him in my patrol car, and I had to tell him because he kept saying, "Why aren't they taking my girlfriend? Why aren't they taking my girlfriend to the hospital?" So then I had to give him the bad news, which I had to do a number of times.
Did he? Of course, he cried.
Oh yeah. Then he realized.
I bet he never drunk drived again.
I would hope that's true, but I've seen people who have been arrested 3, 4, 5 times after they've hurt people. There was actually a woman pastor made the news. She was I believe a Methodist pastor, female pastor, who'd been arrested 3 or 4 times and charged with DWI. And this last one, she hit a guy riding his bicycle and killed him, a fatal accident. And she was drunk again. So she had 3 or 4 DWIs where the police pulled her over because she was weaving and she was too drunk. Even went to jail once after the 3rd one, and then still went out and did it. So yeah, I would like to think that guy never did it again, and maybe because he knew what he did with actually killing a personal person, his fiance, for an hour or 2, that maybe he didn't.
Well,
that's a sad one.
Yeah,
well, I have a share of those. I mean, I have a number of those I could share, but if I think about them, I'll bring them up. I have to weigh them in my mind because some of them are really bad and some of them aren't.
All right, well, next time you can tell me a funny story.
Okay.
Well,
I'll run your emotions all over the place, huh?
Yeah.
There you go.
Because I remember, you told me that one about the naked guy in the pool that drank pool water out of the baby's head, and then the other one with the 2 women with the poop going back and forth.
Yeah, I didn't know if I told you that because that was one that came to my mind for a funny story just now. So, okay, I'll think of that one. But yeah, I have told you that one already. All right, let's go eat.
All right.
Somewhere along the line, when I was a police officer, towards the end of my career, I began to realize that people didn't see themselves as they really were. So what I would do, and my partners, everybody I worked with, used to laugh. They couldn't believe it. They could not believe it because I would, let's say I locked somebody up for a DWI, and their speech was slurred, and they were, when I locked them up, they peed themselves. That's something they tend to do. And they were driving erratic, and I'd lock them up and take them to the police station. After they were sobered up a little bit, I'd say to them, I just want to ask you something. I said, you were driving, your blood level was very high, you were intoxicated. Are you a drunk driver? And they would go, no, I'm not a drunk driver. And I would, usually the other officers would say, you just drove drunk, but you don't see yourself as a drunk driver? No. One time I got a call of a domestic fight, and when we went to knock on the door, it was an apartment. When we knocked on the door, a little kid, probably 5 years old, 6 years old, opened the door, and he only opened it so far, and we said, where's your mom and dad? And he said, my daddy's strangling my mother. So we pushed the door open, we moved him away, pushed the door open. He was on the floor strangling his wife. We ran down, grabbed him, locked him up. So a little later, after I filled out all his information, I said, let me ask you something. Do you consider yourself a violent human being? No. She provoked me. She got me angry. Normally, I'm not a violent human being. I'll give you another example. One time, the detectives brought a burglar in. They brought him in and they charged him with 32 burglaries. He broke into people's houses and business stores over a few months. So when I was sitting there with him, I said, now listen, this has nothing to do, this is between you and me. Are you a burglar? And of course he went, no, I have a drug problem and I have to get money, but I don't consider myself a burglar. I said, wait a minute. You actually took the detectives to the 33 different places that you pointed out, that I broke into that house, I broke into that business, I broke into there. And you pointed out that you did break in it. Don't you consider yourself a burglar? And they would say no. And they were serious. They were shocked. Now, I did this dozens and dozens and dozens of times. Only once, there was a guy who was a heroin addict. He got caught shoplifting. And I asked him, after his fingerprinted, just sitting there waiting to go to the court, I said, let me ask you something. Are you a thief? And he stopped. He got quiet. He looked at me. And he said, wow, I guess I'm going to have to say that I am. So out of 50 people or more that I asked, only one would say what he really was, a thief. He could admit it. So, getting back to the flying upside down thing that I was talking about earlier, people are flying upside down, not even seeing themselves as they really are. They can't understand that there's a right side up, and that what they're doing is in a dark world, a destructive way. They see it as good. Well, and another thing they would do, if I said, you beat up somebody, and they say, well, at least I didn't beat up a kid. Or if they beat up a kid, they say, well, I didn't hurt an infant. They would always rationalize what they did by saying, well, I didn't do this. I said, yeah, but you beat up this man and put him in the hospital. I know, but I could have killed him, but I didn't. I just beat him up. So they always rationalize everything they do. And they're serious, because I'd say, wait a minute. Tell me the truth. This doesn't go to court. This is just between you and me. And they couldn't do it. So, the part of flying upside down is that we rationalize everything we do and make it seem sensible. What we do is okay, so we don't feel guilty.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that got me to turn right side up was I had to admit that I was guilty, that I did do a lot of things that I would say that I was probably. Now remember, I was a police officer. I was a kid too, so I did a lot of things that most people don't even know about. But I had to confess that. I had to say to myself, I am that. I really have been capable of hurting people and have hurt people, and admit it. And that's when you begin to see the world right side up. When you begin to admit who you really are, not who you wish you were or who you think you are. So the object in life, okay, there's two kingdoms. The other way I look at it, there's two kingdoms out there. One kingdom is that kingdom of everybody flying upside down, and it's all about them. A king, they think they're the king of and the word dumb, D-O-M, kingdom, is short for domain. Their domain. They're, like people will say, I'm the king of my house. Well, in their house, that means I'm in charge. I'm the king. Kings and queens, like Queen Elizabeth we were talking about earlier, she was in charge of a huge chunk of earth. And anything she said, as soon as she said it, it was a law. If she signed it, it was a law, and everybody had to obey. She was the one who ran their kingdom. So there's two kingdoms. I would liken it to one kingdom is dark, with shades of what people think are light, but it's still dark. And they're running their own kingdom. And then there's the kingdom of that magnificent mind that truly has a kingdom. And in that kingdom is the right side of living, where you admit who you are and you see the world as it is without judgment.
Yep.
So as a police officer, way back then, I started to see something. I thought, this is odd. People don't see themselves as they are. They can't admit it. So change takes an admission of guilt. And people will die before they'll admit their guilt. They'll go to death sometimes before they'll admit that they did something bad, especially if they murdered somebody or harmed them seriously. So the idea in life, well, and the other thing is, for somebody like you, as you're going through life, is to decide, am what your cosmology is. Cosmology. Where do you, how do you see the world? How do you view things in the world? Because it'll determine how you act as you grow up and get older and older. If you see things. I work with a woman. She's a woman, not a girl, who sees the world always rosy. She always wants to see the best. Always. She'll say, well, they didn't really mean it, or they're good people, or he's a good guy, normally. Sometimes people do these things. And then I also work with people who everything's bad. Man, the world's coming to an end. It's really bad out there. Can you see how bad it is? So that from where they're rooted, that's how they view the world. So one time, to give you an idea of the woman I was telling you about, she would say to me, everybody's great, everything's good. Sometimes people have little problems, but all in all, everybody's basically good. And then I said, I said to her, well, if you could change the world, would you like the world to be just like you think? She goes, oh yeah, I think if everybody thought the way I thought, everything would be wonderful. And I said, well, I know another woman who thinks everything should be another way. And she said, if the world was like that, everything would be great. I said, and you're two different ends, you're two different areas. How could that be? And she looked at me and went, I never thought of that. And the other woman was Grandma. She would say, if everybody thought like I did, the world would be so much better. And then my other friend at work, my coworker, said, if everybody thought like I did, the world would be better. But yet they had two opposite views. And that's why we have so much division and infighting, and everybody's divided. And anytime you have division, you're going to have conflict.
Speaking of conflict, when my mom and Pop-Up came over to our house, we were talking about war, and there was one war. I looked up what the longest wars were. The longest war was like 712 years.
Just an endless?
It was like some ancient war, but it was 712 years. And the shortest war, this is pretty hilarious. The shortest war lasted 30 to 45 minutes.
Well, that's a good war then. It's just as they're getting ready to fight, somebody says, I give up. I'm done. Or let's call a truce, which means
either that would have happened, a second thing that could have happened, one of them could have been like really, really weak. Another thing that could have happened,
got defeated real easily.
The war was, they realized how stupid the reason for the war was. Because it must have been a stupid reason. If it was that freaking short, then it must have been a stupid reason.
To even happen, yeah. I know there's one war, I think it was in England, it's called the War of the Roses. I think it lasted like 40 years of constant battling. It took 40 years to resolve. We've been in, our country's had invaded Afghanistan. It's the longest war we've ever been in. I might be wrong, but I think it's, I don't know, 10 years long or something like that. Even the big war, World War I and World War II only lasted like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
So. But conflict is always a result because somebody takes a stand for one direction and somebody else takes a stand the other. And then you argue, and then if you don't, you can either stop arguing and move away from it, or you end up battling, getting into deeper arguments, where eventually hatred comes out of it, and then you actually physically declare a war or hurt people, or they hurt you. And all you have to do to end wars is for people to see how divided they are and give it up. Stop being divided.
Well, back when we were talking about synchronicity,
Uh-huh.
I've had the experience of synchronicity a lot. Yesterday morning, I had this song stuck in my head. And I was like, what is this song? And I'm like, is it a Beatles song? What is this song? And I was like, I want to look up later, but I never did look it up. Like the top 10 Beatles songs or something. I never did look it up. Then my dad had to take me to a dentist because my braces, the wire popped out because I wasn't eating peanut M&Ms. So it was really quick. And on the way there, oh my god. My stomach's like really upset.
Want me to pull over? Think you might have to throw up? I'll get over.
Nah.
I can't. You're pushing me over.
Who no?
Keep staring straight ahead.
Okay.
That's the best thing to do.
I should have just
stopped
when I felt like I needed to stop eating instead of going till I was full. Or that was a bad burger and I ate it.
It's too fast. Takes a while for even your stomach to recognize it was a bad burger. That is, you bent over real quick to pick up the fallen iPod.
Yeah.
And I was turning at the same time, and I think your ear threw you off. And that's how you get a. Can't think of the word for that. Jeez, I didn't realize that was a double. What's the word when you?
Oh my god.
Vertigo.
Oh yeah, it wasn't vertigo, it just my stomach was upset. But that's like a double tractor trailer.
Yeah, you'll see
so
that too.
It's like a tractor trailer, but then they have another trailer attached to the other one. Dang.
It was a long one.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the synchronicity thing. Then as on the way there, it's the song he was switching to a channel on the radio, and he said, "Oh, Guns N' Roses," and it was like it was originally a Beatles song, but there's Guns N' Roses remake, and I was like,
oh.
And then I was like listening for it, and then it was that exact same song
that had been played in your head.
It was "Live and Let Die." It was Guns N' Roses' "Live and Let Die."
Which the Beatles
and I was
wrote.
like, that's just freaking weird.
Paul McCartney wrote that for a movie. I don't know if you ever heard of 007 spy type thing. Can you think of the name of the movie? But I think the movie was actually called "Live and Let Die," and then he wrote the song. It is a pretty cool song. Changes tempo a little bit.
Yeah. I like the part where it goes banana, 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 banana. That's the part that was stuck in my head.
And you got the answer. Wonder what is this song? And then,
yeah, it's the same. It's the same day.
Yeah.
It was, that was weird. And then I think another time that exact same thing happened. I got stuck in the morning. I got stuck in my head, and then when we were going to the dentist, it was the same thing. I realized what the song was on the radio because it was Guns N' Roses. That happened like twice.
Well, speaking of the dentist, how's things going with your braces? They say otherwise they're okay, or?
Oh yeah, and my dad said that I got them on in April, not October.
So it hasn't even been a year, but it's getting close to a year.
Yeah.
I can see the difference. I'm glad you got them. I'm glad you're getting them wanted to take care of.
I don't think.
Got your water, your cup, your burger, and your papers to take.
Yeah, this is empty. That's why I ripped it open. Don't let me forget my notebook.
Well, according to my car, it's 79 degrees. That means it's almost just air under 80 degrees, which is a good late spring, early summer type of day. We're still in winter for another, let's say, March 20th, another, until April, so we got a little ways to go before we hit spring. So that's where you live, right over there, huh?
Yep.
So I made you look to the right after I said stare ahead. So if you get sick, don't throw up in my car. I'll roll you out as you're throwing up.
No, I don't have to throw up anymore.
Good.
It's the other way now. It's going the other way.
Yeah. Well, you just ate something that got your intestines now saying get rid of it when you ate this time yesterday. Usually takes about 24 hours for things to work its way through.
Yeah, fast food. I guess that's why they call it fast food. Goes through your bowels fast.
Yeah.
I have to look up the actual reason.
Yeah.
It probably is that though. Because it's so bad. Because your body only gets the stuff that's good for you. So if you eat a bunch of junk food, that's why you'll be pooping a lot. Because your body excretes the stuff that it doesn't want or doesn't need. But it has to get something.
Tries to quickly get the nutrients out and get everything else out.
Yeah, it only gets the nutrients, that's it. And if you look at close up, like what the inside of an intestine looks like the molecules, it's all tiny little hair things that pick up the nutrients.
And also there's a lot of bacteria in there, which are supposed to be there. And mitochondria? Yeah, mitochondria.
Yeah.
Which is these living things are in us, living off of us. And we live because of them.
Yeah, the mitochondria are living organisms that make up the living organisms that are animal cells that make up us.
That's right. Everything is feeding off of each other. And what, is that your mom? I think I saw your mom. Maybe it was your sister. I don't see the car. Maybe
Yeah, my sister should be home.
Yeah, I see the doors open.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so it's good seeing you again. Oh, that's your mom, right? Yeah, she's home.
Oh, yeah, that is my mom. All right, well.
Stay in peace.
Oh, notebook. Yep.
Notebook and pen.
The door closed on me. Okay, I need to.
Use the little muscle that you just worked on. There you go. All right. Let me know after you edit things. Speaking of.
Yeah, I need to put it right where everybody sits. That's smart.